All right, welcome back. Episode 120 of Chaotically Intolerant. I think last week was 119. We have a big weekend in baseball. We're going to be wrapping up the regular season. We have the wild card chase, that number one seed chase as well. Maybe the Toronto Blue Jays won't even get in. Well, they won't get in as a division leader. We might see the fucking Yankees win the East again. That's ridiculous. And then we're going to go into football. Week 3 of the NFL was crazy. We saw some exposure of some teams, Green Bay Packers specifically. Then we'll do our week 4 picks, and then we'll get out of here. Before we do that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America, the Draft America podcast. Go check out Spring Hill Sports Cards, The Cycle. They're still going. They're going to move into football in November once the baseball season's over. But they are still sticking hard on baseball, though this week I think John is out of town. He's on his honeymoon, so they're going to be doing a little different type episode, but we'll see. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. All right, Mike. Big weekend of baseball. This is all the drama. This is it. First off, I do want to start off with congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. First AL West title since 2001, 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just awesome to see that. And Cal Raleigh, I mean, is Cal Raleigh going to be the MVP? I've been saying some people are saying he should win MVP.
I absolutely think so. You just can't understate his value as a catcher. 60 home runs. The Mariners make the postseason for just the second time in 24 years. First division, like you said. I don't care what the average is. I don't care if he strikes out a lot or ends up around 240. This has just been an incredible season. And it has been for Judge, too. Judge has 51 homers and missed a couple weeks. So I don't think you can, as much as we, from a sentimental perspective, would love to see Raleigh win, I don't think you can go wrong with either choice. And it's probably going to be as tight of a race. Although, you never know. We could say it's a tight race and then Raleigh gets 24 votes because voters just fall in love or get voter fatigue from Aaron Judge.
Yeah. And then we're looking at Toronto, who, we'll just start in the American League and then we'll move our way down to the National League. Toronto and Boston right now. Sox are going for the sweep tonight. Red Sox are also hoping they can see I'm looking at my schedule here. A Houston loss to the Athletics today. And then, Detroit, we got to talk about Detroit.
Yeah.
Generational collapse from the Tigers.
Yeah, this is crazy, but they still control their own destiny for a postseason spot, and they're a game up on Houston with a tiebreaker. And we're not really talking enough about Houston and the potential of the Astros collapse, which we should be celebrating if, in fact, they miss the postseason. But a 15.5 game lead gone with still now, 4 games to play? And Cleveland hosts Texas over the weekend. Detroit goes to Boston. And maybe if Boston wraps up a playoff spot, that they play it a little differently. But looks like the division may be out of reach for the Tigers now. And they just stopped hitting. I just don't think they did enough at the deadline. They got Charlie Morton, who they've since DFA'd. Kyle Finnegan, who's been shaky since coming off the IL. I was just disappointed that Detroit did not act a little more aggressively at the trade deadline. I was starting to feel, even when they struggled around the All-Star break, that this may not just be a midseason swoon, and then they played well for a little, and then it kind of started again, and something just doesn't feel right. And it feels like Skubal they're just counting so much on him that at some point, that's just not enough. But not at some point. At some point, he just won't deliver, and then you have nothing. And then you're a very average baseball team.
Yeah, what do you think? Do we think that this is just one of those where they collapsed and then they finally get into the postseason and they go on that run and it's like, oh, this is the team that we saw all year? Or is this collapse just going to continue and they're going to die quietly in the first round?
I think more of the latter. I actually think more of the latter than anything else right now, because I just don't know how they're going to score enough runs. And they're looking at playing Cleveland again, and they'll have lost 6 straight maybe to them as they go in. And I don't know. It's hard to say, but I the way Seattle's going, the way the Yankees are going right now, I don't see this Tigers team stacking up with the best, or Boston, or even Toronto. I mean, I think this Tiger team is going to be what they end up, which is, if they get in, a 6 seed.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I always think of the 21 Red Sox where they last day of the season they came back and beat the Nationals just to get into the playoffs, and then they went on a run and found themselves in the ALCS. So, you see stuff like that happen sometimes, but I mean, this Tiger team is just depressing. It is. They're depressing right now.
Yeah, one thing they do not do at all, and this is something that teams probably want to be able to do in the postseason. One thing they simply don't do is steal bases. They are dead last in baseball with only 60 steals. So they don't create a lot of havoc on the bases. That's a problem, right? You got to be able to run, add that speed element a little bit. I mean, their other numbers are okay. It's just nobody's hitting right now. Just nobody's hitting. That's the problem. And it's hard to win games when you don't score runs. And so, and look, the team ERA, they're right smack dab in the middle. So you take out Scooble and you see a lot of cracks in the rotation and in the pitching staff in general.
And I'm looking at these teams here, and the max amount of wins that anyone in the AL is going to have is 94.
Right.
Who would have thought that 94 wins would get you the number 1 seed in the American League?
It's exactly what the Yankees did last year. They had 94 wins, and they were the number 1 seed in the American League. This is going to be the second year in a row we don't have a 100-win team. We were getting them all over the place for almost a decade, and now we're not seeing it. And whether that's just the parity getting a little bit better, or teams maybe prioritizing workloads and not driving as hard to win this many games in the regular season, I'm not sure. I think the Brewers actually could end up with 100. No, I'm sorry. They can only end up with 99. So, yeah, I've felt all along like the American League is the weaker league. I think the NL should win. But you also have to take into account teams that are just playing out of their minds right now. I mean, Cleveland, 11 of 12, 12 of 13, something like that. Seattle is 15-1, something crazy. I don't know, 14-1 over their last 15 games. It's hard to sustain that as you get into October, but it's crazy to think this Mariners team was basically like a 500 team just, about a month ago. So that makes it even more stunning when you think about the team that's probably going to end up with the number 2 seed was a very average baseball team just a few weeks ago, at least on paper.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we gave up on this Mariner team 3 times this year.
Yeah.
And then they won us back, and then we gave up on them again, and then they won us back, and it's all seemingly is fueled by Cal Raleigh on his chase for Barry. Are we going to cut away from games to go watch Cal Raleigh and see if he can break the American League record like we did with Judge?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think it was ridiculous doing it with Judge the first time.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners now clinched the division, so I wouldn't say their games are meaningless. I mean, maybe they'd still like to get the 1 seed, but they can kind of rest, get things lined up. I think you want to be careful. I mean, the last thing you want is Cal Raleigh getting injured or something happening going into October. The chase for history is great, but the Mariners have done what they haven't done in 24 years. They play the Dodgers over the weekend, so they'll get a taste of what postseason pitching is going to look like. But I would love to see him break it. I'd love to see him just take Judge down in every aspect.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's look at the American League East. This is a battle to the end right now. Mm-hmm. We're actively watching Toronto just give up the division to most likely to the Yankees. I'm hoping to the Red Sox, but it's more than likely going to be the Yankees. And especially, I mean, the Yankees ending the season, you get the White Sox and the Orioles. I mean, 2 bad teams. Just, of course, it plays out like that, right?
Yeah. It's such a shame, man, with the Blue Jays, because you knew at some point offense would become a problem without Bo Bichette. I don't think anyone could have anticipated it to become this much of a problem. Now, the only game they've won in their last 7, they got 8 runs. Every other game, the other 6 games in that span, 1-0, 1-1-1-1. That just, I mean, when you're talking about a team trying to wrap up a division, to beat the Yankees, to catch themselves after, an incredible run. I mean, remember the Blue Jays were down, 7.5, 8 games at one point. They said this will be the first year that every single team that at least is leading their division now was down 5 games or more at one point. I believe that's what the stat was. The Brewers were down to the Cubs. The Mets were ahead of the Phillies for a while. The Jays were dead and buried. The Mariners were 7 games out. I think the Dodgers had been down or up 7 games, went behind, and now they're about to clinch. But it's tragic for me. And Toronto is pushing back Shane Bieber to the weekend. He needs a little bit of extra rest. They're going with a bullpen game in an absolute must-win against Brian Bayo and company. I think what scares you the most about the Jays is, yes, you lose Bichette, you lose a lot of production. But when teams start to show this much, this many cracks off one guy, it really raises alarms, because going into the postseason, you need a lot of guys to step up. And the Phillies are a good example of this. They have been playing without Trey Turner. They just got Alec Boehm back. Bryce Harper has been sick the last few days. They hit 8 home runs last night. No Harper, no Turner in the lineup. They still showed what they can do. They've been able to tread water offensively in the absence of a couple guys, because they're just a deeper team. And we already were talking about the Blue Jays bullpen being a concern. I think the rotation is still a little bit of a concern. Bassett's now on the IL. Barrios hasn't been very good. I fear that this collapse will be completed. I do. I mean, they've got 1 more with the Sox. They've got 3 with Tampa, and you know how Tampa is in any given day.
Oh, this is their moment.
This is their moment.
This is what
they'll never be the team that goes all the way, but they will screw somebody over. And the Jays look like a prime candidate. I think the Blue Jays, I mean, there's part of me that feels like they have to win out. It's just like, oh my God, can the Orioles get 1 game this weekend? But they do have Trevor Rogers and Kyle Bradish lined up to pitch this weekend. So the good news is the Orioles have 2 great starters who both dominated the Yankees this past week. Now, the Orioles only won 1 of those games thanks to the bullpen and their lack of hitting. Rogers has been incredible this year. I mean, if he had been doing this even just a couple more starts, we'd be talking about him as a Cy Young frontrunner. But he didn't start this until late May. So the hope is maybe the Orioles can get a game this weekend. The White Sox were a strike away, and you just knew when they didn't win that, they weren't going to win last night, and they're probably not going to win tonight. So Toronto better figure something out. They better figure something out, because Bichette may not even come back in October. He hasn't even started running yet.
Yeah, and the same can be said with Roman Anthony. Yeah. Roman Anthony is also very far away, per Craig Breslow, from starting baseball activities. So it's really not good. And if let's look at the American League again. Who are you most confident in dethroning the Yankees?
Oh, Seattle
as AL champs.
Absolutely, Seattle. I think there is so much power in this Mariners lineup. Number one, again, it feels like they're reliant a lot on power in the same way that we often think that the Yankees are. But what gives me a lot of hope is that starting rotation. Now, I think they'll need Brian Wu to be healthy. He dominated the Yankees in 2 starts. He had pectoral tightness, expects to be ready for the postseason. This is a great rotation. And don't be fooled by George Kirby's 4.24 ERA. This guy is absolutely electric, and he had a few god-awful starts when he came back from injury. He has been just, other than 1 clunker against the Rays, 5 of his last 6 starts have been dominant. I feel good about Seattle's rotation. I feel good about the fact that they are, you know how it is. These teams get in after long absences. They've got so much energy. There's going to be so much electricity at T-Mobile Park. The Yankees, they win, I think, in spite of their fans. I really do. I mean, look at what happened last year, and I think it was Max Muncy was talking about.
I agree with you 100%.
That eerie feeling that the Yankee fans were just waiting for the team to blow it. It wasn't like, we are so excited, this whole town is behind this team. No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that in a lot of these big cities, with the exception, I think, of Chicago. It's it's like that is a real thing. I don't care what anyone says, whether it's not a conspiracy theory. I think teams feel that. They really do. The athletes say it all the time. You feed off of that energy. Look at what the Phillies did. When they got in, they hadn't been there in 11 years, and Citizens Bank Park was a nightmare for everyone until the Astros figured it out, those last two games of the World Series. But I think Seattle's got the best shot. I mean, Cleveland, unbelievable run that their pitching is on. I mean, when you have pitching that good, you always feel confident. Cleveland never beats the Yankees, and they just don't score enough runs. I'm sorry. Where is their offensive production?
That's been the problem, I think, with them in the playoffs. The last few years, the last few times they've seen the Yankees, that's been their issue.
Yeah. I mean, we know about the greatness of Jose Ramirez, and we know Stephen Kwan's a good hitter. And yeah, Kyle Manzardo has 26 homers, but man alive, are they just hoping to scrap runs across. You just can't. This has been an amazing run. I mean, credit to Stephen Vogt, because Cleveland, I mean, when they lost Clase, we thought, well, they don't have a closer. Guys have just been stepping up like crazy for this team. And I'll tell you, Gavin Williams has had an exceptional year. This is a guy that, when they've needed him, he had the near no-hitter a few weeks back against the Mets. They'll bring pitching. I mean, they're going to play a lot of low-scoring games in the playoffs. The question is, can they get those big hits? I don't think they can to make a deep enough run. So my answer to your question is definitely the Seattle Mariners.
Is there anyone else out there that you're reasonably confident that they could beat the Yankees?
Your team, of course. I mean, I think the Red Sox have a better shot than the Jays. If you can throw Garrett Crochet twice in a series, great. I worry a little bit about the loss of Anthony, because you lose a catalyst, you lose a guy that's killed the Yankees here in a short career. But again, Yankees, Red Sox, man, the rivalry, it's electric. They're going to be in all of those games. They're not just going to go out and roll over. So yeah, I feel good about the Red Sox having a shot. Will the bullpen hold up? Will the rest of the rotation contribute after Crochet? And will they score enough runs? All reasonable questions, but they went 9-4 against the Yankees this year. They didn't do that by accident.
No, not at all. We did not do that by accident. Although it is a little worrisome that the last series they were not their last meetings, the Red Sox did not look like that team.
Right. Well, to me, that's law of averages too. I mean, they were 8-2. It doesn't like they're going to be 10-3, 11-2 against the Yankees. That stuff just evens out inevitably. But when they had to win, when they had that Sunday night game, they came out with a 6-run first. Crochet wasn't dominant, but kept him in it. I think I like Aroldis Chapman's chances to hold up, keep this great season going in October. It's Red Sox, Yankees. I do feel like that's one of those flip of the coin. Anything can happen. I would have told you the Jays a few weeks ago. I said the Jays went 8-5 against the Yankees this year. They swept them in a 4-game set. But again, they're losing confidence. I don't even know if they'll have Bo Bichette back in the lineup. There's concern about the rotation, after Gausman, even Bieber, the bullpen. I don't feel nearly as confident in the Jays.
Anything on Houston here? Because they are on the outside looking in. They're a game back of Detroit right now. And what would they be of Cleveland? Well, 2 games back of Cleveland.
They're 1 back of Detroit. Detroit won the season series. There's something weird about this Astros team, really over the years too. 22 being the exception, where they were just a runaway train. When they go cold, they go ice cold offensively. They've lose, and now Alvarez is out again. Framber Valdez, we know about his antics on the mound. He just hasn't had that kind of year that they're used to. I mean, we're seeing Hunter Brown wear down maybe a little bit. I mean, he still had a great year. It's just they are not hitting. Their bullpen. The loss of Josh Hader really hurts too. I know count them out at your own peril, but I'm just looking at Framber Valdez's lines here, recent games: 5 runs allowed, 5 runs allowed, 4, 3 earned before that, 6 runs allowed. Had a scoreless start against the Rockies, 7 runs allowed before that. This had been their ace. If nothing else, this is their number 2 starter behind Hunter Brown. I think this is finally the year where Houston looks very pedestrian. They may still get in the way Detroit's going. They got one more with the A's. Man, the A's are going to be good in a few years. That lineup, holy cow! They just need a little pitching.
Yeah.
and then they finish with 3 at the Angels, which is no gimme. I mean, yeah, the Angels are a downtrodden team, but it's no gimme. I don't see Houston as any kind of a threat. I don't see them getting past the wild card series if they get in. So I know the Yankees are happy about that, the team that they just cannot beat.
I think most of the league is honestly happy about that. It's
Yeah.
just we're sick of it. I don't want to see that logo anymore.
Yeah.
Not for a while, at least. At least the next 5-6 years. I don't want to see them.
Well, I feel more strongly about the Yankees, but I'm absolutely with you on the Astros. It'd be nice to have a break from them in October if, in fact, Detroit can hang on here somehow.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would say that about the Red Sox too. But, I mean, we haven't been in it as much lately.
Off. Yeah, they take years off. I respect that. They don't mind going into a little bit of a rebuild. I totally respect that. Love to see. I mean, I'd love to see, but I'd be happy I'd be fine if Boston makes a run through the American League this year.
All right, let's go to the National League here. I mean, Milwaukee has been a freight train, pretty much since about a quarter of the way through the year.
Yeah,
is that when they turned it on? Roughly around then.
Yeah, the Brewers, a couple things working in their favor now. They're 1 game away, whether it's a Phillies loss or Brewers win, from wrapping up the 1 seed, which means one very important thing. They would not have to face both the Phillies and Dodgers to reach the World Series. That to me is huge. Not to say that the Padres or Cubs would be a pushover by any means, but not having to face both of those elite teams is a huge plus for Milwaukee. Now, the Brewers, one thing that was killing them right up through Labor Day, I got to look at the numbers. It was, they played, I think it was, 19 games in 18 days or 21 games in 20 days, something like that, where they started to look worn down. They did. And it's totally understandable. I mean, you get to this point in the season, they've been so hot. They had the 14-game win streak, and then they kind of played about 500 balls since then. They've got a day off. They may it sounds like Sunday, they will get their closer, Trevor McGill, back, which would be huge. He had an all-star season. They've been relying on some other guys to get key innings, but the Brandon Woodruff injury is huge. Strained lat. If he's not available, they're probably looking at young Quinn Priester, who's been amazing. They've won 19 games, 16 starts in a row that he has pitched in. But how confident do you feel about a Milwaukee Brewers going into the postseason without Brandon Woodruff and with Quinn Priester as your likely number 2 starter? Hey, who knows? Maybe he keeps this going and breaks out in the postseason. That's what I pontificated that on Draft America this week, that he could be the Brewers' postseason star. The Brewers are going to be fighting against history and themselves in the postseason. The numbers prove, at least the statistics, the record, the run differential, that they're not a fluke. They're 96 and 63. They have baseball's best run differential. So there's not that element that this little engine that could, Brewers team, they scrape by. I mean, they are a very balanced team. But injuries are a concern. I think they will benefit greatly from a few days off. When we talk about, teams get rusty in a few days, I think the Brewers need a little bit of a break. They've been on this crazy adrenaline kick here since this run started. I hope the spirit of Bob Uecker can carry this team through October.
The letter that was apparently from Bob Uecker wasn't even written from him. What a fucking weird thing to do. That's so weird.
Yeah, I was wondering. That did sound weird. So what, Pat Murphy made it up?
Yeah, apparently Pat Murphy wrote the letter as Bob Uecker saying, I'm in heaven now. I'm up here playing with the boys up in heaven, and I'm just watching you guys accept. What? Why would that ever be okay? I mean, I understand that Pat Murphy and Bob Uecker, there is a relationship there, but I don't know, man. That's freaky to me. The only one that could write that would be maybe a wife, right? I don't know, man. That's just creepy.
It's odd.
It's the AI. I saw something, not to get too political, but there was an AI rendition of something from Charlie Kirk at a church this past weekend. They said Charlie Kirk wrote this, but it was actually AI that wrote it, and they admitted it. I don't know, man. Just really freaky. You should not be writing for dead people. That should not be happening.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Tim Johnson, who was Blue Jays manager in '99, got fired because he lied about fighting in Vietnam And he said he had felt guilty because he went to spring training with the Dodgers. Many of his friends had fought in the war. So I think that's a lot worse. It's bizarre. I mean, maybe there was something that Bob Uecker said to him. Hey, I don't know. I mean, Bob had such a unique, weird sense of humor that there's a part of me that feels like he would have been okay with that. You know what I mean? And maybe Murphy was just trying to give levity to it. I don't know. It's odd. I don't think it's like egregious or offensive per se. It's just
weird. It's weird. It's bizarre to do that,
It is. But like I said, if anybody could maybe appreciate that, it would have been Bob Uecker. It maybe. I'm not saying for sure, but look, it's been a nice, there've been a lot of tributes to him this year, as there should be. Just an iconic baseball personality, and who knows? We've talked like Austin Strong with the marathon bombing, Houston Strong, they had the hurricane. Do teams truly rally around that? I'd like to think they do.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan. I've experienced it.
Well, think about this. Every 4 years, 2013, you experienced it with the Red Sox. 2017, Houston had the hurricane. 2021, Hank Aaron passes away. Braves won 44 games before the All-Star break, 44 games after. Very symbolic. Maybe 2025, 4 years later, Bob Uecker. I don't know. Just like to throw that out.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they finally get over the hump.
Yes. And who would they rather face in the NLCS? I still think they'd rather face the Phillies. I don't think you want to take any chances facing the Dodgers.
I don't care about how bad this Dodger team is. If they want to turn it on, I'm still afraid. I'm
terrified. Roki Sasaki comes back last night. He's a new bullpen weapon. Clayton Kershaw pitched the ninth inning. They're going to figure it out. They are. Yeah, maybe they can't trust a lot of their relievers. Fine. We've seen that before. The Nationals, they utilized Patrick Corbin and Anibal Sanchez in relief because they didn't have many trustworthy relievers either in 2019. Think about this. The Dodgers last year won the World Series with Jack Flaherty as their number 2 starter and Walker Buehler as their number 3 starter, and basically throwing bullpen games. This year, they've got Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani, and Glasnow. This is like the first time they've had a deep, healthy rotation going into October. And so say what you will about the bullpen. Yeah, it's been bad. They still have a ton of thump in their lineup. Although the Will Smith injury, that's something to keep an eye on. He's got a hairline fracture in his hand. If he doesn't come back, you lose a lot of production there. I understand that. But man, that rotation, and if Sasaki becomes any kind of a weapon out of the bullpen, I think we're looking at a repeat. I really do.
That's bummer. Scary.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very much a bummer.
So. Yeah.
Now, this National League wild card is not quite as tight as the American League. And we've known that. I mean, we've known that the American League is a weaker a weaker league this year.
Yeah.
But the Mets, you got the Mets, Arizona, and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's playing right now as we record this. It's 0-0 in Pittsburgh. And then Arizona has the Dodgers and then the Padres, the Padres, they're not going to be, can they catch the Cubs?
I don't think so. And I don't think they care nearly as much about potential.
3.5. I think they're 3.5 back of Chicago. So I think it would take a lot to be able to catch the Cubs. So are they going to rest their starters this week?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the head-to-head, but that means the magic number at worst for the Cubs would be 1. But to get a home game, it'd be nice to be at Petco Park for sure. For the Padres, they play well at home, especially in the postseason. But I think if they're settled into a wild card spot, then they're not. Yeah, they may take their foot off the gas. We were talking about this before we started the show about who of any of these 3 wild card teams that could face the Dodgers in the first round. I mean, it feels pretty hopeless that any of these teams could go into LA and take 2 of 3. If there's one team, I would say it's Arizona. I would really say it's Arizona because we've seen the Diamondbacks. They're probably baseball's scrappiest team. They are. I mean, last night, inexcusably, they had Geraldo Perdomo bunt in the 10th inning, their best hitter who had the walk-off hit the night before. That game may cost them a postseason berth. But if they get in, they swept the Dodgers in 23. They just don't give up. They are the kind of team that will not go into LA scared. I think they're the one team you can say that about. Talent-wise, though, they just, trading away Naylor and Suarez and Merrill Kelly. Look, they I hate to say wave the white flag, but they were sellers this year. And so this is all gravy for them to be in this position. As you were saying, I think the Mets getting in would just be a travesty. It just feels like because they've underachieved so much that it would be, you just don't want to see them. I mean, if the Mets were playing, like getting hot, like they were last year, they got hot. They had that rough first third of the season and they had the OMG vibes. And, they were a fun team to watch last year. They really were. And you felt like maybe they'd have enough energy to take down the Dodgers. Obviously, didn't work out that way. But this year, it would just be sad. I think they would just get swept out in those two games, to be totally honest with you. And then there's the Reds. And then there's the Reds. Who knows? I mean, they've got Terry Francona, but I just don't think the Reds have enough offense, and they'd be relying a lot on Hunter Green. I mean, look, he's a good pitcher. Who knows? Reds are just, I don't know. They just feel like they'll just be happy to be there.
And then let's talk a little Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Phillies. Are they still on pace for their what is it? Winning more games?
No, because they got
earlier.
They'll have the bye. So that if they can't lose. I thought maybe if they had ended up as the wild card, I'd been like, yeah, they're going to get knocked out. So it may have to go the opposite direction now. They still win more games, and now they go one round further, and they get knocked out in the NLCS or something. But yeah, no, they're not on pace for that. But like I said, they get Trey Turner back. Bryce Harper's been under the weather here. You'll never be comfortable enough to be like, oh, the rotation will be just fine without Zach Wheeler. They've got three lefties. It's always interesting, like three lefties at the top of your rotation: Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo. The bullpen, I still have some doubts about. I don't think Johan Duran is as good as people think. He's good. He's got great stuff. I don't know how much I trust him in the postseason, but the Phillies have a ton of firepower. We know Philadelphia is a very tough place to play for visiting teams. Although, look, the Mets knocked them out last year, and Arizona won games 6 and 7 of the NLCS the year before. I do think the Phillies can beat the Dodgers, but for some reason, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see them getting past Philly. I think if they get past the Dodgers, I think the winner of that series probably takes the pennant, beating Milwaukee or maybe San Diego or the Cubs. It just, I don't know. Something just feels like it's not like the Phillies aren't all they're cracked up to be. But again, they have talent. They've got still three really good starters. Hard to sit here and just try to convince people that they're not going to make the World Series. But I just wonder if we'll be talking about the loss of Wheeler as maybe the reason they don't get there.
Anything else on the National League?
No, I like you said, holding my breath, but I think the Dodgers are going to end up coming out of it.
All right, give me your World Series matchup.
Dodgers Mariners. Why not?
Going with the Mariners.
Have some fun, yeah. Let's have some fun. I don't want to take if I said Dodgers Yankees, I would just be copping out. I do think LA will find a way to get back, but I want to say Seattle. I want to say at least this year, if we have to watch the Dodgers, we'll have someone to really root for against them. Last year was tough, man. That was brutal. That was Chiefs. We got Chiefs, Eagles, and we got Dodgers, Yankees. I mean, you want to talk about a gut punch in a span of 4 months of having to watch that specific matchup. I mean, give the fans somebody to cheer for.
Yeah. I'm gonna just take some gambles here. I'm gonna roll with Detroit. I don't know why. In the American League, I'm gonna roll with Detroit. I don't know why. I'm fully expecting to be wrong, but this is one of those good odds. They probably have good odds right now.
Well, maybe, law of averages. Hey, 2006 Tigers had the division completely wrapped up, it seemed like, and then they lost 5 in a row. They got swept at home by the lowly Royals, lost game 1 of the Yankees, and you know what they did after that? They won 7 straight to get to the World Series. So maybe. I mean, look, I wouldn't be totally shocked because the American League is not that good. You still have arguably the best pitcher in baseball. They got to start scoring runs. They got to find somebody to really step up offensively.
I'm praying they don't wake up this weekend, but it would feel like this could be the weekend where they wake up.
Yeah, but as long as the Sox can secure a playoff berth, I think more than anything is number one.
Just got to win today. Win tonight. That's it. And I would be perfectly happy if they just turned the gas on this weekend and destroyed us. It would suck because then we would probably, we would fall into that
I,
final
I,
spot. But
I prefer you guys to lose tonight so the Yankees can not gain a game and then maybe take game one against the Tigers and then take your foot off the gas. But whatever works.
yeah, I just want to be in. That's it.
Yeah.
And then in the National League, I don't know why the Cubs are really looking sexy to me right now. Just get that lion or Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my, that World Series matchup. But give me Milwaukee. Give me Bob Uecker.
All right,
that'll be nice.
I love it. I think there'd be so many people who would appreciate that. Just on quick note on the Cubs, I was very high on them about a week ago. They clinched a berth and then they lost 5 straight. They hadn't lost more than 3 in a row all year. I felt like they were a team that was kind of undervalued, underappreciated. But if they don't have Kyle Tucker, if they have Pete Crow Armstrong now hitting 9th, this is a guy that was considered a guy that could challenge Ohtani for MVP. Yeah. They also have a couple of lefty starters and a very intriguing option in Cade Horton, probably going to be Rookie of the Year. There's like a lot to like about the Cubs. If you had asked me a week ago, I would have said I was very confident they were going to beat the Padres in the first round. The thing is, San Diego starters questionable, but that bullpen, if you give the Padres a lead, even without Jason Adam, I do think the Padres, I could see it being Dodgers-Padres in the NLCS. See San Diego getting another crack at it. So I'm very torn on that wild card series now. I was very, very high on the Cubs beating the Padres, and now I got to think about it.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the NFL. Let's go into week 3 of the NFL. There was a lot of field goal shit, a lot of weird shit going on with field goals this week.
Yeah.
And a few teams were exposed for, maybe after those first couple of weeks, we were like, okay, you got to get it together this week, or man, this is a really good football team. And they were kind of proven the other way. Let's start Thursday Night Football. This was not an exposing. This was you knew exactly what was going to happen. The spread was 11.5 and Buffalo won by 10. Josh Allen is just, I'm going to give you a stat here. In his 16 games against the Miami Dolphins, I believe he has 43 touchdowns, which is insane. That's like 2 point whatever per game. He's 14-2 in his career against the Miami Dolphins. He's also now the fastest player to 300 career touchdowns, I believe. He's at 301. He just beat Patrick Mahomes by a game. I mean, Buffalo is just, this might be their year. They are doing everything right. And this was an inspired Dolphin team too, where this game was close, but then you kick that field goal and it's a 10-point game. And it's like, all right, well, this game was just, they were never worried. Like, this was the easiest close game that the Bills could have played in a trap spot. This also felt like a big trap spot for them.
Yeah, they were talking after the game. I think it was Deion Dawkins. It was like he's like, we knew Miami was going to come out swinging tonight, and I don't think anyone was surprised. Division games just hit differently, as they say. Allen is incredible talent, and the Bills look really, really good. I mean, again, I don't think you could find me a Buffalo fan that can confidently be like, oh, this is definitely our year. They've seen this before, but with the Chiefs being really down this year, well, not really down. I don't want to get that far ahead of myself, but. And I don't think you can completely say that they'll just automatically beat the Ravens. And, and then the Chargers look good. But Buffalo, as long as Allen and the rest of the team, for the most part, stays healthy, this does feel like this feels like this Bills team has taken a step forward from even last year, when everybody kind of felt like not a rebuilding year so much, but kind of a transition year. They look locked and loaded. I mean, look, credit to Miami, because 2 weeks they look pretty lifeless, and they are 0-3, but I think they gave the Bills, they played about as well as they could have, I think.
Yeah. Don't listen to me on those stats. They might be wrong. I got them from ESPN, and so they might be wrong on the game recap. But I mean, I don't think there's much else to say. Tua just did the Tua thing. He looked okay, all game pretty much, and then a big turnover at the end that just killed him. But again, there's really not much to say. Buffalo's really good, and Miami is just not good. The moral victory, I guess. I mean, Mike McDaniel said he doesn't believe in moral victories, but it's a moral victory. You at least played competently. You were competitive with a good football team. That's a moral victory in my eyes.
Well, you better beat the Jets and get a real victory this week.
Yeah, I don't even know. We'll talk about the Jets too. I don't know which team is more depressing at this point already. Colts, Titans, Indiana Jones, baby. It's. I'm trying not to get my hopes up because you look at the record of these teams. These are not good teams. Denver's a good football team. But I mean, it's a combined like 2 or 3 wins between the 3 teams that we've played. That's not amazing. That's not amazing whatsoever. But I mean, this stat from the first quarter: 145 to 34 in yards in the first quarter. This Colts team is starting out fast. That is not something that they've done in the past. It feels like they dig a hole to start the game, and then you're constantly digging out. This time they have been getting started fast. Daniel Jones also has the same amount of victories this season as he did in the last 16 starts for the Giants.
Wow.
This is a different team. This is a different player. And it just shows if you leave the Giants, you're going to be good. That is the career. You want some energy in your career, just leave the Giants because they're so bad. But
I guess so.
And Tennessee, it's a bad football team. You're a good football player that's drafted onto a bad football team because you're the number 1 pick. You're not going to look good. I think Cam Ward looks fine. I think he's going to be fine. And that's saying that as a Colts fan who hates the Titans. I'm very scared of the future for Cam Ward. I think he can be really, really good, but their offensive line is not good. 4 sacks in this game. I'm just happy to be a Colts fan right now. And that's the first time I've said that in a long time.
Yeah, well, that's nice. It is good to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Daniel Jones. Like when guys kind of get that second chance, if you will, and chance to prove that they are, not the bust that everyone seems to think they are.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he might be the best running back in the NFL right now. 102 on the ground, 3 touchdowns, including a 46-yard touchdown run that essentially like put the game away. I mean, I know the score was 41-20. There was a point where I got slightly nervous, a little bit more PTSD of like, okay, this could get a little ugly. It was 27-13. Tennessee, Cam Ward, trying to find this touchdown. All right, Pollard ran for a 1-yard touchdown rush to make it 27-13, a 14-point game. So you get a little nervous when it becomes a 2-score game, but then Jonathan Taylor kind of put the hammer in and said, we're not doing this shit. We're not doing it. He ran for 46 yards and a touchdown. Then Tennessee answered again, kind of in garbage time to make it 34-20. But at that point, we weren't as scared whatsoever. So it was a great game in all phases. And even we had our first punt of the season. Spencer Schrader missed a field goal, and you're still able to dominate like that. That is a big confidence-boosting game heading into a real test against Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, very excited for that. Vikings, Bengals. Carson Wentz. What did I tell you? Bet on Carson Wentz. No, this was the worst loss in Bengals franchise history. This was not good. This was really, really bad, especially a game. I mean, they're coming off that Sunday Night Football loss to Atlanta where the Vikings just didn't look good. They turned the ball over a lot. And now you have Carson Wentz, which is usually kind of a deflator for a lot of teams. And Cincinnati comes out and they turn the ball over a lot. They don't look like a good football team whatsoever. They just could not. I mean, they couldn't move the ball on the ground at all. They need to, if they want a chance to survive and maybe have Joe Burrow come back and play important games later in the year, you have to get the ball going on the ground, and they couldn't do that.
And the Vikings go from 6 points with J.J. McCarthy to 48 with Carson Wentz starting. Boy, yeah.
6th team in 6 years. That's an NFL record.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think Wentz had that incredible of a game. I mean, it was really, I think the day belonged to Isaiah Rodgers. But, kind of figured the Bengals were going to probably lose their first game. I just don't know if anyone expected it to be by 38 points. And Yeah, there's definitely we said there were some cracks in this Bengals team, and they showed quite a bit on Sunday. And for Minnesota, they just keep finding a way to be at least pretty good, if not really good. Kevin O'Connell, the effect is real.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what a good coach does. He wins on in these spots of like it's a real test for a new quarterback. He seems to dominate. So, yeah, good, very good for the Vikings. I mean, I don't know how excited you can be if you're a Vikings fan at this point in the year. And we might not see JJ McCarthy back until week 7 because they go over to Ireland. They play the Steelers this weekend in Ireland. Then I think they go to London for week 5. And then they have a bye week 6. So we could see him in week 7. But JJ McCarthy is traveling with the team, even going through rehab. I feel like that's not a great decision. You would want him to rehab in the most comfortable way possible. Maybe he wants to be with the team, but I would think rehabbing would be more important.
I would hope so. But who knows? Wentz plays well. What if we don't see McCarthy for a little bit?
Yeah, we may not see JJ McCarthy for the rest of the year. Who knows? I think his injury is going to be dependent on Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely dependent on Carson Wentz. I think maybe if Carson Wentz stunk this week and they lost 48-10, they might say, you know what, JJ, you're playing. You're playing this week. You're playing in Ireland. Fuck the injury. We're going to try and save this season.
Yeah.
But Steelers, Patriots, the Steelers are not good.
No.
They are not. Please don't try and tell me that they're good. You win by 7 in a game that you have 5. You force 5 turnovers. That's not enough. That's not a good football team.
No, not at all. No, this Aaron Rodgers, it's sad. I hope they have their little 9-8. Tomlin keeps his dumb streak alive, and they get knocked out as a 7 seed. To me, that's as good as it's going to get for the Steelers. And New England, that's disappointing for them. They're coming off the big road win there against Miami to be that sloppy. I mean, May's overall numbers weren't that bad, but you have 14 points and you turn the ball over 5 times. I don't know. Hard to gauge much from this game. It's just crazy to think New England, Pittsburgh, this was the premier AFC matchup for so long. And now it's just like, Steelers, Patriots, throwaway game. And I don't remember off the top of my head because I wasn't watching, but if this game was on Fox, that just somehow makes it 10 times worse because it's a CBS. It is a CBS classic game.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear Jim Nantz.
Yes.
Like, I can hear his voice now, like, Patriots Steelers in Pittsburgh. Like I can see the terrible towels flinging around. I can see all that. And the fact that, just I'm growing up. That's the problem. I'm growing up.
It was a CBS game, by the way. I just didn't know if it was a sad cross-flex Fox game.
Still, I'm growing up. This used to be the premier matchup. This was Aaron Rodgers' first victory in New England in his career.
Yeah.
His only other times he has been to New England, he lost to the Patriots as a Packer, and then he lost to the Patriots as a Jet as well.
Yeah, he 2010 when the Packers won the Super Bowl, he didn't play in that Sunday night game. Matt Flynn played, and Packers actually
was that the Dan Connolly?
Yeah, it was the Dan Connolly
kick return.
Yeah, and that was the game that maybe gave the Packers a lot of confidence because they won their next 6 games after that, including the Super Bowl after Rodgers came back.
What was the other? I thought I had something. Oh, Ramondre Stevenson. He's got to go. That was even Mike Vrabel even said that was a point in their planning this week, in their game planning, that Ramondre Stevenson's ball security is a problem. So clearly, if you're saying it in the meetings and then you see this result, he's got to go. He cannot be your lead back anymore. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just Patriots I don't know. Just haven't seemed to figure out this run game thing here over the last few years.
Texans, Jags, Brian Thomas Jr. back. I'm going to say it. I think he's back. He had some miscues in this game as well, but he had that big, I think it was a 46-yard reception to not put it away, but really make this one, help the Jaguars out a lot. Besides that, the Jaguars, that's their first home win versus Houston since 2017. We're seeing Jacksonville actually close a game out there. They've had a lot of trouble, especially last year and even the year before. They've had some trouble closing out games. But forcing the interception off the tipped ball on CJ Stroud at the end that's a big confidence booster for them. And Aratone Arase, offensive lineman for the Texans. I mean, the offensive line for the Texans has been a problem all year, but he's specifically really not good. Not good at all this week. Did we anoint CJ Stroud too early? I think we anointed him as like the next thing too early.
Yeah, this Texans team is starting to creep into Dolphins like territory of disappointment. I don't know what it is about this franchise.
They're creeping into Jaguars. Last year's Jaguars disappointment.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's a lot better of an analogy.
Yeah, to be 0-3 in that division, and all of a sudden the Colts look really good, and even the Jags are 2-1. Yeah, Texans may be looking at a long year.
I will say it hasn't been easy for them to start. They've had the Rams. They played a tight one in a defensive game against them. Then they played the Bucs on Monday Night Football. Close one there. Baker Mayfield drives them down at the end of the game to win it. And then you lose to a division team and the Jags, who aren't bad. But this week is the real test. You have the Titans. They should destroy them. They should beat the shit out of them. And if they have Tennessee hanging around, this is not going to be a good Texans team, because then you have the Ravens, you have the Seahawks, you have the 49ers, you have the Broncos, you have the Jaguars again until you get to the Titans. And then after that, it's Buffalo, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Arizona, who has a good defense. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 games that you can say the Texans should confidently win that game. Raiders and 2 Titans games. The rest of the way, it's not easy for them. There are not games where you can say, there's not stretches where you can say they can pick up a few wins and get a roll going here.
Right.
So it's going to be long. This is going to be a tough year for Texans fans. It's going to be a tough year for Titans fans as well, but Texans fans especially. This one, unexpected team, really exposed this team. Panthers shut the Falcons out, especially, after a defensive dominant victory over the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. You come out, you get shut out. I mean, the Falcons, I don't know how you're feeling if you're a Falcons fan right now. Kirk Cousins came into the game at the end of the game. I don't really know. I don't think there's honestly much to really say on this one. It's just...
It was astonishing because the Panthers didn't do a whole lot offensively. I mean, they were outgained by 108 yards, and the numbers didn't scream 30-0 game. This Atlanta, it's just another franchise, another city. I hate to use that as like the fallback analysis, but I just don't understand that. Like, you feel like maybe you have your QB in Penix, and then he gets pulled for Cousins, and you feel like Bijan Robinson gives you a pretty good run game, and they've got a few receivers there with London and Mooney, and it's just like, what is wrong with this team? Is this a one-off? But I mean, week 1, they had a big opportunity slip through their fingers against the Bucs, and then they laid an egg. I mean, good for Carolina because it gets them off the schneid. It was a rough first couple of weeks, but you said Bryce Young had like momentum maybe that he was going to carry from the end of that Arizona game. And yeah, I mean, his numbers were very modest, but he didn't turn the football over. He only took 1 sack. So they obviously, Carolina, maybe they figured something out at the end of that Arizona game, because whatever it was, this was a one-sided affair, at least on the scoreboard. Again, the stats may say otherwise, but I don't know what to make of this Atlanta team. Really, I had higher hopes. They don't look very good.
I mean, in Carolina, looking at their schedule here, we could see them go on a bit of a run. They got New England and New England. Now, New England's sitting at 5.5 right now, but I don't believe in that. You got the Dolphins after that at home. You got the Cowboys after that at home, the Jets in New York, and then you see the Bills. So maybe they could have a little bit of momentum going into that Buffalo game. I mean, Dallas is no pushover whatsoever, but that'll be a nice little test for them. Little iron sharpening iron. I think they're kind of more on the same level, in my opinion.
I don't know how much you can even read into schedules at this point, because we just don't know who a lot of these teams are. But New England and Miami and Dallas and the Jets coming up. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a head of steam.
3 or 4.
Yeah, you get to what 4-3 in that case, going into playing Buffalo and Green Bay. Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
They play in the NFC South, so who knows?
All right, to the one of the weird ones, Rams Eagles. The Eagles surprise. Jalen Hurts can throw the football, and he can throw it really well. I feel like we haven't really gotten to see it all that much because the Eagles have been pretty comfortable in a lot of their games. They're 19-1 over their last 20 games, but Jalen Hurts can throw the football and he can throw it well.
He can, and I'm saying it right now. I think the Eagles this year's Eagles team is last year's Chiefs team, but better because it just feels like now they're winning close games and they're winning in these bizarre ways. And I'm not saying that the refs are helping them the way that people thought that they were with the Chiefs, but you win a game. You had 2 blocked field goals in the fourth quarter. They've got the tush push. They're going to make every 4th and 1 they ever need to make. Hurts, yeah, obviously he could throw the football. Had a great performance in the Super Bowl. I think for the Rams, again, blew a 19-point lead. You had a 19-point lead in Philly. This was the only team that gave the Eagles a tussle last year in the postseason. So I think you can still be encouraged if you're the Rams, but man, talk about a missed opportunity. And Nakua had a big game, but I don't know. Still, I don't know how good the Rams are exactly. I think they're good. They're the whole is greater than the sum of its parts kind of team. Yeah. But Philly, if they're winning close games, that's almost more discouraging to the rest of the league than if they're winning blowout games, I think.
And they won this one with Saquon going for 46 yards.
Yeah.
So take away the Saquon is carrying this team. I mean, they just this is a possible NFC Championship preview, and they won it with Saquon going for under 50. In this, I mean, they rushed for 86 total yards as a team. Jalen had 40 on the ground and a touchdown. So,
yeah, I mean that 57 yards in the Super Bowl on 25 carries, and they won easily.
Yeah, so this is
it's the best
discouraging if you hate Philly. I'll say that. Yeah. I think this is more of an impressive win. One of their more impressive ones in their last 20 games.
I think they're the best team in football.
I was a little out on them over the first couple weeks, but this one kind of sold me again on them. Just the way they won it. They won that close game. Like we said, those close games, they show us who the playoff teams are, and they found a way to do it.
Enough on Philly.
Yeah. Jets, Tampa, another weird one. Aaron Glenn hitting that dance on the pick six.
Yeah, that was good.
That was awesome. That was so cool to see. I need emotions from coaches. Like I think I grew up with Belichick just never being excited for anything happening ever. So it's like you want to see these coaches show emotion. I saw someone put Earth, Wind, 21st Night of September over his dance, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I love that. That was awesome. Especially it was on September 21st. Yeah. The game was on September 21st, so it was perfect. Yeah. But the Jets, it was a Tyrod Taylor game. That's kind of what Tyrod Taylor does. You fall back, and then he claws you back into the game, and then you somehow lose on a last-second field goal. And the Bucs, they just keep doing. I mean, this is again, we saw Rams Eagles. The Bucs are right there. They're playing a lot of close games, and I think at the beginning of the year, you want to see these teams playing closer games. You hope that eventually they're going to start being a little more dominant as players get healthy. They just lost Mike Evans for 3 to 4 weeks. You don't have Chris Godwin. But Emeka Egbuka, this is your time, man. You got to keep the guys afloat. You got to keep this team afloat. And this is his time to do it right now and show that he could be the rookie of the year and the new Mike Evans in Tampa.
Yeah, it was, and they did it without Chris Godwin. They're the last team to beat Philly in a game that Jalen Hurts started and finished. So they'll get another crack at it this week. Yeah, gritty win. They got just one offensive touchdown in this game. But when their backs were to the wall, kind of like in week 1, Mayfield got them down the field, kicked the game-winning field goal. Yeah, I like it. And kudos to the Jets, too. I mean, again, kind of in that same vein as Miami, too. They fought hard, couldn't finish it against Pittsburgh in week 1, and then obviously the blowout loss to the Bills. They bounce back and give give the Bucks everything they can handle, especially after being down by 17. So yeah, Aaron Glenn's team showing some fight. It just not there talent wise.
It was 23-6 at one point. So yeah, 17, 23-6 with, when did they score the touchdown? I guess they started the touchdown drive with 14:06 left in the fourth. So overcame that big deficit in one quarter. So it's encouraging. It's definitely encouraging, to show that they can fight for that long, or fight through that. Commanders, Raiders, not much here. This was a Geno Smith game. This is like the definitive Geno Smith game. Those are 3 touchdowns, 200-something yards. Trey Tucker has 3 touchdowns, and they lose 41-24 to Marcus Mariota. I feel like Geno Smith does that all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if this is more deflating for the Raiders or uplifting for the Commanders, but we were worried about Jaden Daniels being out, and they run for 201 yards on 32 carries. I mean, Mariota
174 in the first half.
Yeah, and Mariota 40 yards on 6 carries and a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad backup to have. He's not. The Commanders, for them, I think they needed a convincing win. People weren't really sold. They kind of, less than inspired win over the Giants in week 1, and then they lose to Green Bay in week 2. So for them to come back, I mean, the Raiders, probably just an average football team, but with their backup quarterback, they're not apologizing for winning by 17 points.
No, not at all. And yeah, I mean, you run for 174 on the ground. I think that's more encouraging than anything, because there was a little bit of worry with this team where you starting the season with Austin Eckler as your number 1 back, who's like 32. So you're worried about that, but they were able to do it here, show that they can run the football. So it's encouraging. Not much else to say on it though. Packers Browns, the big one. So I do have some stats. First win for Cleveland after scoring no points and down 10 with 4 minutes to play. Denver, Tim Tebow's Denver Broncos were the last team to do that. They beat the Bears in 2011. Andre Schmidt as well, after having some big misses earlier this year, being able to hit the game winner. That's awesome. Kevin Stefanski talked about him. His mom died of a brain aneurysm in July. So, he's fought through seems like hell over the last few months. So to be able to do that and come away with a win, that's pretty awesome. Jordan Love was sacked 4 times as well in this game. So really, I mean, come on. We saw it last year. You got to protect this guy. If you're the Packers, you have everything else. You got to protect this guy. This is the only guy that you really have to worry about at this point is protecting him. So discouraging. Really discouraging for the Packers. This is a game they should have won handily.
I think Tebow also did it against the Dolphins that same year. The first game he came in 2011. This was a shocker. I mean, good for the Browns. I always root for Joe Flacco. But we've been hyping up the Packers so much. I mean, certainly defensively, they didn't do anything that alarming. I mean, they gave up the 4th quarter lead, but tell anybody like, hey, our defense is going to hold the opposition at 13 points. You got to win that game. You do. I don't know. I like Jordan Love, but I don't know. I'm not totally sold yet. Can the Packers win high-scoring games when they need to? Or is this going to be a team that needs to win slugfests on defense? Hard to say. They ran 31 times for 81 yards. So, and not being able to hold on to the lead. And this might be a little bit of an alarming loss for Green Bay.
Yeah, this is the big exposure. This is the big, we thought that Green Bay was a Super Bowl contender, and they're not right now. At least I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, if Cleveland ends up going on a little run or something, maybe it's easier to excuse. But yeah, this is definitely a red flag game for the Packers.
Yeah. Broncos Chargers, another field goal one. Denver, I think they've held the lead for every minute in the 4th quarter this season, and they're 1-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Bo Nix, modest numbers. I think Jim Harbaugh's got this team at a higher level than people think. I do. I mean, they're 3-0, 2 close game wins, which the Chargers are specialized in blowing. 3 division wins. They're 3-0, and all those wins are against the AFC West. So they are looking really good for tiebreakers and all that. And Herbert throws for 300. They make the plays on the final drive to win. Like, there's a lot to be excited about for the Chargers. I know people will be skeptical because of their history, but they have the coach now. They have the better of the two Harbaugh coaches. I'll tell you that much.
There's been two teams since 2002 to do it, to start their season with 3 straight division matchups and win all 3. The 2006 Chicago Bears, who went to the Super Bowl, and the 2003 Minnesota Vikings. So I think they went to the NFC
they
Championship
collapsed.
game night?
No. That was
did they collapse?
That was the Paul Allen. No, on the last play. That was yes. They started 6-0 and ended up 9-7. They lost to Arizona, right? So, okay. Well, so one team goes to the Super Bowl, the other has an epic collapse.
The other has a Chargers-like epic collapse.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll see. And maybe the Chargers fall somewhere in the middle there, but you got to. But it's a good division. I mean, those NFC North divisions those years were nothing spectacular. But you're in a division with, we think Denver's solid. It's hard to tell. Well, I don't know about the Raiders, but the Chiefs are still close enough to the Chiefs, I think, that you could say that
the Raiders in another division would be better. I think that Raiders team would be better in another division.
Yeah. I just the Najee Harris injury, unfortunate. I'll rely a lot on Amari and Hampton, but Herbert's playing good football. He's getting the ball around to play. I didn't realize Oronde Gadsden too. See, I remember this when I feel old, but watching Oronde Gadsden in the late 90s and early 2000s with the Dolphins. So his son had 5 catches for 46 yards, and yeah, I'm telling you, a lot to like about this Charger team, and a bit of a head scratcher for the Broncos. I thought they would look a little more well-rounded.
I think this is still a young team. I would believe that this Denver team will show more signs of life later in the season, as they gel. And then I think the next couple years will be more for Denver. But 10 penalties for 90 yards. This is not an incredibly disciplined team, especially for a Sean Payton team. We saw the leverage call against the Colts last week directly impacted the result of the game. Now, whether you want to say it happens on a lot of plays, blah, 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 that's a different discussion to have, but that is a penalty that directly affected the game. And it was clearly a leverage penalty. It's not like it didn't happen. Keenan Allen looks really happy. Keenan Allen looked really depressed as a Bear, and now he is back, and he looks really happy. And he's playing like maybe not complete vintage Keenan Allen, but he's having a big impact on this team when you thought, maybe he's not gonna be able to do as much. 7 for 65 and a touchdown on 11 targets. So Herbert is clearly happy to have the veteran back. And then Quentin Johnston and Omari and Hampton as well. Those are 2 big young receivers that you're really excited, especially with Quentin Johnston, who felt like his career was dead in the water, and Harbaugh has seemed to activate him again. So really cool to see for this Charger team. I mean, I know we're sick of thinking the Chargers are going to the Super Bowl because we do it every year and then they collapse, but at least they have given us a reason to believe that through the first 3 weeks.
Yes. Coaching, all coaching.
Yep. Saints, Seahawks, not much here. Saints are really bad. Seahawks they did what they're supposed to do. I feel like we do this with the Seahawks. They do this kind of early in the year. They look good, and then they'll collapse, especially it's Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold. He's going to show out. He's going to look like a good quarterback at times, especially early in the year, but not late in the year.
I don't have a ton to say. I think it was inevitable the Saints would have a game where they look like the team we expected, and vice versa on Seattle, who had lost their first home game. Yeah, I don't know. Darnold's numbers, I mean, he was very efficient, but that's what you'd expect.
Yeah. 49ers, Cardinals. Mac Jones, I said it last week, he looks like the quarterback that is in Kyle Shanahan's system. Mm-hmm. This is a great system for him. Could Brock Purdy get Brock Purdy'd? This is the second straight week Mac Jones has looked okay. He's looked competent as a quarterback, and he could operate this offense effectively. This Arizona team is not a pushover in any means, and they're able to go down and win the game at the end. I would be confident in San Fran just finding a way to be 3-0 is good with all these injuries. Nick Bosa now done for the year as well.
but one bad game will easily be like, oh, Brock Purdy can't come back soon enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, 2/3 of the completions were to Ricky Pearsall and Christian McCaffrey. So relying on your playmakers. But they held Kyler Murray to just 159 yards passing. And I thought this was a missed opportunity for Arizona. I wanted to see them maybe prove that they had taken a step forward. I mean, they're still 2-1, but they beat the Saints and the Panthers the first 2 weeks. So yeah,
And they struggled with the Panthers at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and the Saints too, right? The Saints went down the field and came close to maybe tying the games.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona had the edge, and they had the ball for close to 35 minutes and just didn't do a whole lot. So, yeah, this is a head scratcher for them. But I think the Niners being 3-0 with the injuries, are they the Super Bowl Niners of a couple of years ago? Probably not, but you just never count them out.
They are welcoming the Jaguars this week, so a bit of a test for both teams. I think it's more of a test for the Niners. I think it's definitely more of a test for the Niners. But the Jaguars should, if they are the team that we expect them, they should handle business, I would say, like 10 points. They should beat them by 10.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Like a nail in the coffin field goal at the end with like a minute and a half to go. I could see it like that. Exactly how the Bills beat the Dolphins. Cowboys, Bears. Caleb Williams looks like Caleb Williams we expected. He gets that first win of the season, on the docket. And the Cowboys it's not good. They are who we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Just I know people enjoy seeing that with Dallas, but hey, 4 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. That'll alleviate some concerns, even just for 1 week. I think the Bears are going to figure some things out. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think. I'm not saying they're going to be a championship team or even a playoff team, but I know this was Dallas, but what a confidence builder, I would say, for Caleb Williams. He's a guy
I think they could be the 7th seed. I could very well see them being the 7th seed.
I'd be shocked if Chicago makes the playoffs. I think, you got your coach, you got your quarterback. If it comes together, it's not like, it's a pretty solid division, but I don't think any of those teams are like unbeatable by any means. Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit. I don't think any of those teams. I think it's big. I think I think Chicago has to win. At least a couple of these division games to prove. But yeah, they were pretty dominant in this game.
Yeah, they're going to see the Raiders this week, so hopefully they can get back up to 500.
Yeah,
and then they'll go to the Commanders for a rematch of the Hail Mary.
Yes,
that'll be exciting. Chiefs, Giants. Russ gets benched after this game. Chiefs don't really look all that impressive to me. It's just the Giants were not good.
Yeah, I know that the Chiefs will get back Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, but that ain't going to fix all their problems. They don't run the ball. Their line is questionable. I mean, Mahomes, they've fallen on that fumble really saved the day for them. I love Cam Scatterboo. I love watching him play. But the Giants, I think, absolutely about time they go to Jackson Dart. I don't think it's going to get too much better, at least for a little while. This was just a game the Chiefs had to win. They got Baltimore coming up. They're already 1-2, or they were already 0-2. So I wouldn't be all that convinced as a Chiefs fan. Yeah, I mean, this was like if they had gone out and just destroyed the Giants, put up a ton of points, I'd say, okay, maybe they're back. This game doesn't prove anything for the Chiefs.
No, not at all. And then the Monday night game, the big one, Lions, Ravens. Derrick Henry has a fumbling problem. I'm going to say it. He has a fumbling problem.
He does. Yeah. That's 3 in 3 weeks now. And,
he has 10 fourth quarter fumbles in his career.
That's hard to believe. Yeah. And again, he only had 12 carries. You know what? You want to use him, even if he's not going to have a big game, you got to run him. You got to, establish the run. I mean, Lamar's the passing numbers as far as, completion percentage, yardage, and touchdowns were perfectly fine. But 7 sacks, I knew the Ravens offensive line was maybe average at best. I didn't know it was going to be this much of a problem. They just, when a team, I've said this before, when a team underachieves, it's on the coach. I just don't know. And Harbaugh got his extension. The owner loves him. But I don't know that I can buy the Ravens as a true championship contender. I don't know how much has really changed between last year and this year. I think that their defense has gotten exposed. Man, did they get run over? 38 for 224, and they were just a lot of gaping holes. I mean, these were, 7, 9, 6 yards. It was just, an offensive clinic, it felt like, by the Lions. This is 79 points allowed in 2 primetime games by the Ravens. We've talked a lot about Lamar's playoff struggles, the ability to win the big games. You got 2 big primetime tests early in the year, Buffalo and Detroit, 2 probably Super Bowl contending teams. And the defense in particular has just gotten flattened.
I mean, what else? So we've been doing like top 3 passers of the week, top 3 running backs of the week, top 3 wide receivers of the week. Somebody said that Lamar does not deserve to be on top 3 passers of the week, that Jared Goff deserves to be to take his place. I don't know what else Lamar could have done here.
And that's the thing.
I mean, he scored 30 points. What else is he supposed to do here?
Yeah, I mean, the sacks, he sometimes on the sacks he gets caught in between. Doesn't know whether he wants to run or just kind of hang in there, and then maybe he starts to run and kind of is like, no, but I have to pass. Man, you got a little bit. That kind of was a factor in the AFC Championship loss to the Chiefs 2 years ago, and so there's a little bit of that indecisiveness. But again, I mean, it does feel like, I don't put these losses on Lamar Jackson. 7 sacks, I put it on the O-line, the turnovers.
And I wouldn't put the win on Jared Goff here either.
No, although Goff played pretty well.
He played well.
Efficient, and obviously the Lions committed to and succeeded greatly in running the ball. I mean, David Montgomery, my God, 12 for 152. He had a 72-yard run, 12.6 a carry. And he wasn't even the workhorse, right? Gibbs had 22 for 67. I mean, this was like quintessential Dan Campbell style of football. It wasn't, necessarily breaking kneecaps, but it was just running it, being physical. They were more physical than the Ravens. That's a problem too. The Ravens, we wouldn't call them a finesse team, but the hallmark of those great Ravens defenses over the years, so physical. They would just beat you up, and it's the Ravens who are getting pushed around right now. And this is a big, what's the word? Like the immovable force against the inanimate. What's the
unstoppable force versus the immovable object?
It's kind of the opposite. The Ravens defense against the Chiefs offense, and whatever gives this week, team's going to have a big uphill climb because the Chiefs offense is not what we've been used to seeing, but neither is this Ravens defense. So somebody's probably going to get it right on Sunday, and the team that doesn't is going to be 1-3 and really scratching its head.
Yeah. All right, let's go to week 4 picks here. And we will talk about the Chiefs Ravens a little bit more in depth. Thursday night football tonight, Seahawks Cardinals, Seattle 1.5-point favorites in Arizona.
I want to pick Arizona. I want to feel like they can do it, but I don't know. Seattle had such an easy breather on Sunday night or on Sunday against New Orleans. I'm gonna take Seattle.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I just feel like Arizona really hasn't impressed me. And are they a 3-1 football team over this Seahawk team? I think the Seahawk team is a 3-1 team. Again, I don't think they're going to be making any major waves, but I think this Seahawk team could go to the playoffs this year. So
yeah, 7 straight wins. Oh, sorry, I mean catch up. 7 straight wins for Seattle over Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle. Seattle very easily here. To Sunday, Dublin, stupid international game, 9:30, Vikings Steelers.
Give me the Vikings. I like what they did Sunday, and Steelers. It's like they win 1 week. It's like they're not going to get by 2 weeks in a row being their mediocre selves. I'll take the Vikings.
This is actually a really tough one for me. This feels a bit like a loser leaves town as well, or loser. I don't believe in you type of thing.
Right.
I could still, but if whatever team wins, I could still believe in their chance to go to the playoffs. Give me Carson Wentz. It's disgusting. It's gross. A ginger in Ireland. Come on. A ginger in Ireland. Give me Carson Wentz, baby. I'm going Minnesota as well. Colts, Rams. No. Chargers, Giants at 1:00.
Yeah, the Jackson Dart era begins. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be a few moments where you're like, oh, yeah, future. but I'll take the Chargers. This is 3 division wins. They're not going to sweat with the Giants, I don't think.
Rookie quarterback versus Harbaugh in his first start.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be so bright at MetLife. It's those bright games at MetLife are just always like really bad news, I feel like, for the Giants. I think every game is bad news for the Giants in recent history, but yeah, I'm going Chargers here pretty easily. Titans, Texans in Houston.
Yeah, if not now, then when for Houston? That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's 7.5 right now. You have to cover that comfortably. This should be like a 15-point game, at least. Cam Ward cannot stay upright, and the Titans just stink. They stink. Brian Callahan stinks. Did you see the ending sequence at halftime in the Colts Titans game? Let me look at it real quick because it was just baffling what was going on here. All right, so they were driving to try and kick a field goal at the end of the game. So actually the sequence went missed field goal, Titans missed a field goal, Colts missed a field goal, Titans missed a field goal, and the whole thing went 1st and 10, Pollard goes for 6 at the Indy 48. Pollard goes for 2 on 2nd and 4 at the Indy 42. Pollard goes for 1 to make it on 3rd and 2 at the Indy 40. I don't really understand not trying to throw the ball there. The Colts call a timeout with 42 seconds to go. And then for some reason, Tennessee decides to call a timeout immediately after that. So you have a full minute or so of time to prepare for this. Then Tennessee takes a delay of game penalty to move the ball back to the Indy 44 from the 39, because I guess they went for the 40 to the 39. And then Sly, instead of a 57-yarder, it's a 62-yarder, and it's blocked by the Colts. Colts end up driving down and kicking a 36-yard field goal. I don't know what the fuck was going through Brian Callahan's mind. There was no reason to call that second timeout, and then you have a delay of game penalty to knock you back and make it a 62-yarder. That's ridiculous. I don't know how he wasn't screamed at by the owner in the locker room at halftime. Yeah, really not good. So the Titans stink. They just stink. They suck. Commanders, Falcons in Atlanta.
I got to take one upset here. I've been taking all the favorites. I'm going to say Atlanta somehow bounces back and beats its old quarterback. I don't know why. Just a weird gut feeling kind of game.
I'm going Washington here. Atlanta really, really dampened my hopes for their season after that showing against Carolina. I mean, that Carolina team, they're not bad, but they're not shutting them out and, losing 30-0 bad. I'm going Washington.
Dan Quinn back in Atlanta also.
That's true. Dan Quinn revenge game. Bloodied head too. Hopefully he's okay after he took a nice shot. Saints, Bills, and Buffalo. This should be like a 30-point spread. Buffalo's 15.5-point favorites.
Yeah, feels like 15.5 is actually a gimme on the spread, but yeah, Bills easy.
Bills. Going Bills as well. Eagles, Bucks, first kind of big matchup of the weekend. Philly 3.5-point favorites in Tampa.
I'm going to take Tampa. I want to take one more upset. For some reason, they match up really well with the Eagles. They beat them twice in the playoffs. They beat them handily last year. Week 4, same thing. Week 4 in Tampa. It was the last start to finish loss for Jalen Hurts. Let's go full circle. The Bucks figure it out. I don't know how. I don't know why. Taking Tampa.
Yeah, I think after an emotional win like that, I think Tampa comes in and wins. That was a really big one for the Eagles. I think it'll be close, but I'm going Tampa as well. The Bucks, man, they're good. This is a good Bucks team right now. Even with the injuries, I think once they get everyone back too, they're going to be really good. Browns, Lions, Detroit 9.5-point home favorites.
They carry
Browns, massive come down. They're coming back.
I'm with you, 100%. Lions all day.
And that win against Baltimore, it just felt like one of those, like we started a little slow, now we go. That was like the big confidence booster for them. Panthers Patriots, the Cam Newton Bowl. New England 5.5-point favorites in New England.
I like at least taking the points. I feel like Carolina's got some momentum. In New England, they haven't figured it out yet. I wouldn't be shocked if Carolina wins outright, but I would certainly take the 5.5.
You go in New England money line?
I don't know. I'm going to take Carolina. Heck with it. Make another stretch pick.
I'm rolling with Bryce Young too. I think they're gonna hit a little run. This is not a bad Panthers team whatsoever. Colts Rams, big test here. Daniel Jones on the West Coast. It is in LA. Rams are 3.5-point favorites.
Colts keep it rolling. Yeah, I think the Rams actually have a come down. I think they're a little deflated after that game, and I don't know. I'm buying this Colts team each week a little better.
Yeah, last time the Colts saw the Rams was in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson engineered a 23-point second half comeback. There's a lot of bad things to say about Anthony Richardson right now, but we forget just how good he was at times. He was electric. He really was electric in those moments. I mean, against the Steelers, against the Rams, he played some close games too. He looked like he could be the part. He showed a lot of flashes. Obviously, he just overall had been good, but just frustrating. But I'm going with the Rams just out of tradition.
Your thing, right? Well,
it's worked so far.
The last two times these teams played were close games in Indy. Prior to that, this was the blowout series. 37 points, 30 points, 36 points, 17, 25. Every matchup in this series was just a complete massacre. But now we're getting close Colt Rams games. I think we get one this week, but I like Indy.
Yeah, I remember Andrew Luck going to Sam Bradford in St. Louis, playing them and getting the doors blown off. Absolutely kicked the shit out of us, I think in 2012. I don't know why I remember that one. Or maybe 2013.
2013, it was in Indy. It was 38-8 Rams.
Was it in Indy? Damn. All right. Just remembering that one. Let's go to San Francisco. Jags, San Fran. San Fran is 3.5-point favorites here.
I'm going to take San Fran and keep it rolling.
I like Mac Jones going against his old team, his former team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even think about that.
I'm going Mac Jones. It's the Mac Jones Bowl. I really think there is a lot of pressure on Jacksonville. I don't think I would be shocked if Jacksonville came in there and even rolled over San Francisco. But San Fran two-game win streak here. I'm liking them a lot. Let me go with Mac. The big one here. This is the loser leaves town game. I'm saying it right now. Yeah. Ravens Chiefs in Kansas City. Loser goes to 3-1. Winner goes to 2-2. I'm going to be honest. I don't think the Chiefs have a chance here. I really don't. I think the Ravens have looked like a better team.
I wouldn't say it that way, but I like the Ravens against all my better instincts. I think the Ravens, this is one of those, they get ticked off. And the Chiefs didn't, like I said, they didn't prove anything beating the Giants.
They haven't looked like an elite team at all. I think the Ravens, you guys have struggled in those close games, but I mean, Buffalo and Detroit are premier, those are premier playoff teams. I mean, those are teams that they don't fuck around, and you guys hung around and you made it really, those are close games. So the Chiefs have not looked good at all. Not once have they given anyone confidence that they'll be even a AFC title contending team. Like, are we even going to see them in the AFC title game?
No, the streak ends this year. Absolutely.
Not right now. I don't see it right now. Maybe they turn on the gas like Brady and the Pats would, but right now I'm not seeing it. Bears, Raiders. Just give me the Bears. No, this is not an exciting game.
Yeah.
Give me the Bears.
Yeah. Bears. Keep it rolling.
Packers, Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And I did want to say the last time the Packers have lost a game in the way they did to Cleveland, where they were up 10 points with 4 minutes to go and they were holding the opponent scoreless, Johnny Unitas was the quarterback of the Baltimore Colts in 1967. He engineered a 2 consecutive touchdown drives to beat the Packers 13-10. Just
I think history for you. Yeah, I think the Packers take out some frustrations this week on Dallas. I don't know what Parsons will do, but yeah, I like Green Bay.
Do we get a video tribute for Micah Parsons?
Yes.
Returning to Jerry's World. All right. I don't know if it's planned or not. I do not know if it's planned. That's been the question. Is Jerry going to be the diplomatic owner, or is he just going to be Jerry? Most likely going to be Jerry, I would say. But I would give him a video tribute if I was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm also going Green Bay here pretty easily. Double Monday night game, and they're gross. They're really gross. This is going to be horrifying. The best quarterback by far is Bo Nix. We're going to have Tyrod Taylor, I believe Tyrod Taylor and the Jets facing off against Tua, turn the ball over, and the Miami Dolphins on the 7:15 game.
I almost want to take the Jets. I don't know. But Jets are the Jets. I'll take Miami very begrudgingly.
Someone is going to start 0-4 this year.
Right, but the Jets doing it is not nearly as surprising as Miami doing it.
I think the Dolphins are an 0-4 football team. They feel like an 0-4 football team to me. So I'm going to go with the Jets just because. Did you say the Jets too?
I said the Dolphins, but very begrudging. I don't know. Flip a coin.
Yeah. And then Bengals, Broncos, Jake Browning, Bo Nix in Denver. Denver's 7.5-point favorites. I mean, I think it's Denver. The Bengals did not give me anything to be excited about.
Yeah. The 7.5's a lot, but the Bengals look so awful. I almost wouldn't be shocked if they got a backdoor cover, but I'm taking Denver to win.
Yeah. I'm going Denver too. All right, that's going to wrap it up. This is a longer one for you guys. So if you're still listening, thank you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America, the Draft America podcast, and go check out Spring Hill Sports Cards and The Cycle. And again, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you